You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of goddamn nerds. Nerds!
We have returned. Like I say at the end of every episode, we are back. And this time we are here talking about The Last of Us, the aftermath of Joel is no longer with them. He's no longer with them. And this is the aftermath. Little bit of a time jump. 3 months now is, as you can, if you watch the episode, they are, you know, it's everything. It's sunny, weather's nice, no one's bundled up, and they are in Wyoming, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a big contrast from the last episode when there was a blizzard coming, which caused everybody to divert from their paths, from their patrol, and which is how we got the outcome we got last episode in episode 2. So I'm gonna start with Booba. With thoughts on the episode?
I enjoyed it. It's crazy because the only cordyceps we see are at the beginning when they saw them kind of charred up by the gate. So that's the only time you kind of see the cordyceps on here. But episode 2 was so crazy, and the volume of excitement and the pressure and of course the death of Joel. And then this episode just kind of says, let's slow everything down, and let's all mourn. It kind of felt like we all mourned along with Ellie. It was, I enjoyed the banter for the most part. I know sometimes when the two girls are talking can make some people feel uncomfortable, but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the trip. I'm not too sure on the coffee beans, but hopefully we'll get an answer to that later. There's a baseball reference that I hope we get into. And excuse me. And no, it's an enjoyable show. And we talked, of course, a little previous prior to this, and it's the type of show that doesn't need the craziness to enjoy. The acting is phenomenal. Ramsey is killing it. Even when she just kind of walks out the hospital and you kind of see like she's smiling and then she gets serious, man, her method acting is sick. But I like the lead up, the way it ended. I like the what's to come. I'm intrigued. The writing doesn't fall too far from the game, which I am absolutely enjoying. I mean, this is like saying an animation movie coming, to real life, and they're doing a phenomenal job of taking this game and giving us real life perspective. That's been phenomenal to enjoy. Again, I can't tell you enough. Not a moment. I'm a type of person that will watch a show and can doze off at any point in time. I've done it through some great movies that people call great that I didn't think so, but this is a non-sleep. Even without the action, even without everything else, the rebuild, I enjoyed everything. I like the way HBO is taking it and give us the hot moments and then slowing down the really emotional moments. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed so far, and I think they've done a phenomenal job with these first 3 episodes.
So, Cole, I'm gonna get to you in 1 second. But
Yeah.
Booba, I just want to ask you something about what you just said. Why would the two girls talking make some people uncomfortable? According to you, from what you said.
Well, again, doesn't make me feel uncomfortable.
No. I know. I'm not saying you, but you said.
But I think that people see an agenda sometimes, right? That people try to push an agenda sometimes of they call it woke, or they call it getting everybody on the rainbow, represented well. The game has these girls just
That's
like
what I was about to say. Yeah.
yeah. The game has the girls just like this. So anybody who doesn't know the game, I want them to know that, right? In the sense of nature, this is the way it's scripted. They're not going off script. They're not, they're not downing a female Silver Surfer down our throat in a sense. This is just kind of the way it is. And again, I'm enjoying it because the banter is very identical to the way they are, the way they play with each other, the way they talk to each other. There is a great twist that I know that's coming. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but between the two girls. But no, this is exactly what it is. And some people be like, oh, they're just trying to push, a lesbian type of affair happening with these two girls. That's not the case. This is the way it's scripted. This is the way it is. They're not overthinking it, which is why this show is so phenomenal.
So now you, Cole, thoughts on the show? Your perspective from after Joel's gone, you're sitting there watching there. Go.
I love it because it's an episode of, okay, we just lost Joel. Now what? And then on top of that, the aftermath of what happened with Jackson and everything that was going on. I think the show itself is giving you a grounded perspective of, after these events happen, what is next? So I took this episode as this is the after Joe episode. Well, what are we going to do? What is this show where is it going to take us? I like the character development that they've been doing on the show. Has been phenomenal. Like Puba was saying, the way they are taking us through this story. They change certain things from the game, but they're keeping a lot of the game. So I think it's very interesting how HBO themselves are moving this story along and keeping us grounded with it. So yes, no action or anything, but I don't think there was action to be taken. In season 1, episode 3 was a very, very touching episode where there wasn't much action, but you got to feel it. And I think here it just shows us the morning, like Puba said, and then what is going to happen next and where this story is going to take us. So overall, I thought it was great. Also, I just want to say that I kind of wish I could have binged it, because this is one of those episodes. It was good at the end. I'm dying to see what happens next.
It's like Puba said, this is the writing is so good. This is not something that you're gonna fall asleep on unless you haven't slept for days, unless you're dead tired. I'm a victim of the same thing Puba is. I will doze off if I'm not engaged, and that's not happened once in this series. Not just this series, but the first one as well. Like Cole brought up the third episode. It was just something different. It wasn't part of the story as far as Joel and Ellie are concerned, but it definitely it's a strong episode with the third one. And but again, not once that I felt, oh man, I'm gonna fall asleep. Let me turn it off. So I'll start again the next day. But no action, but building up, giving us the aftermath of Joel not being there, and then building up the next. I would say the next progression of the story, and we're gonna get into that now.
You know what was sad? On the intro of the show, you usually see the 2 sprouts, but this time it was only 1 because Joel's not with us. That set off the mood already for me when I saw that in the beginning.
And I'm not, again, Cole and Pooba, they played the game. I did not play this game, so this is just a completely new story for me. And it's cool that they're keeping staying true to the game. But again, I wouldn't know. So this is like a lot of people. I'm sure there's a lot more people who haven't played the game like myself than people who've played it. And people who've played it, of course, kind of know what's going to happen, but I do not.
I got a question, P, for you. Does watching the show make you want to play the game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Definitely so. But I'll go with Cole now. When Ellie gets out of the hospital, and she goes back to the house. She's walking through, and Dina comes in. She has to compose herself because she's kind of, she's smelling Joel's jacket. He's not there anymore, and I guess it's really setting in because she was in the hospital for 3 months, and Dina kind of lets her in on the secret that she knows. Do you think that she was? Do you think it was correct of Dina not to tell her while she was in the hospital?
Yeah, absolutely. We know that Ellie can be very impulsive and just jump ship right away. I think Dina even told her if I would have said anything to you, you would have ripped off the IVs and you would have just went running gun ho. I think what Dina did was smart, and especially knowing who Ellie is. I love that Dina said, I loved him too. So let's not get that messed up. When Ellie was in the house, though, that smelling jacket part is an option in the game. You can
Mm.
skip it if you want, but if not, you can actually do that part. And I thought that was really cool. Another part that they got side by side with the video game was the red box on the bed. And when she got to see the gun and the watch, I thought that was pretty dope as well because it was so accurate. But no, Dina played her cards right. She even kept it from Joel's brother. And Joel's brother was like, "Look, you you keep that away from me again. It's sewer duty for you." And she was like, "Oh." But I think Dina knows how to trigger Ellie, and with that, she did the right thing. She even offered a peace treaty with the donut, which I thought was pretty cool too. And you can see that she wants to be involved as well. So even after the fact, later on in the night, when Dina comes back to the house, she's like, "Come on, stop fronting. I already know you're gonna go regardless of what anyone says, but this is what you need." And props to Ellie for not pushing off too much. She even looked at her and said, "Thank you." You could tell it was hard for her to even just say thank you for that. So for Dina not telling her right away on the jump, that just goes to show you that she knows her friend very well.
So, and this, well, before I get to you, Fuba, like I have a separate question for you, but this question is kind of for both of you guys, and this is for somebody like myself who doesn't know, because again, this is a brand new story to me. Even though I've heard of the game Last of Us, that's not new to me, but I have not played the game where I know the story like you guys do. So, Gail, the psychiatrist, is that? I know she said to Joel, "You killed my husband." So was her husband the same doctor that Abby killed Joe for, or just she was just in her husband was just in the hospital when Joe went on his killing spree?
See, I don't know, but I don't think Eugene was part of Jackson in the game. He actually grew weed, which is why she wants the weed as form of payment because she's used to it by now. I think they have to show that because they have to show that Eugene clip. I don't remember it. I can't off the top of my head. I don't remember it to that day. But no, he was not at the house. Eugene was not at the hospital. I don't think he was.
Okay.
I don't because Jackson is so far from that. And but the thing that Eugene was a firefly. I'm trying to connect the two and I can't. Can you go?
Well, the thing is with the video game, the way you're telling a story in the video game is really point of view of that character. So when you're playing the character, you can only see the story through that person. In the show, you have a much broader way of telling the same story by switching it up. So with the psychiatrist, I don't even remember her in the game, to be honest with you. She
Okay.
might be just a character for this show to explain the psyche of everyone and what's going on.
And she does a real good job of that. Like I think
Absolutely.
Gail, for the most part, is talking to us when she's talking to other people. I just I'm like you, P. I am trying to put the Eugene death and how Gail found out about it. I may need to rewatch the show again or rewatch the game again, but
I,
I can't put the two and two together. I can't.
You know what's cool? Like when I watched this episode and the psychiatrist was telling Tommy, "Look, I don't understand why he said he saved her." I feel like she's digging to see if Eugene had anything to do with that. And it's good to like wait and see. So in the video game, yeah, there are things that are happening, and you know certain parts that is gonna happen, but yet the way the story is being told on the show, they're doing it in a way where they can move pieces around but still tell the same story. It's pretty cool. Really, really cool.
It really is. Yeah, I
So,
agree.
thanks. Because like I said, I thought it was. I thought the doctor, because she, I just, again, I don't know the story, so I thought the doctor that he killed, that Abby killed him for, I thought like that was her daughter. I thought Abby was her daughter. Like, oh,
Yes.
Oh
No,
yeah.
that is correct.
oh, it
Abby
is.
is the daughter of the doctor, and this is why Abby had she had her revenge. She wanted to make sure she got rid of Joel, not only for the falling members of the Firefly, but the fact that Joel killed the doctor unarmed and didn't even look at him when he blasted him off. This is why Abby was so upset and came for revenge for Joel. So
No.
part is true.
But Gail's not that mother. Gail's
That's
not
what
Abby's mother.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah, yeah. Gail's
okay.
not Abby's mother.
No,
All right.
that's a separate entity.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
that was my confusion there. All right. So
I did want to say this, Cole, when you mentioned the red box. Why did I think of Wu-Tang? And then you know when he goes, choose the sword and you will join me. Choose the ball and you join your mother in death. You don't understand my words, but you must choose. Because he had to choose between the watch and the gun. Do I take the path as his daughter, or I take the gun and take the path as Joel? And I thought that box was so amazing because that's the watch that his daughter fixed to get back to him. And that was like his daughter. So I thought that scene right there reminded me of the Wu-Tang for some damn reason. I'm glad that you mentioned it.
The town hall where they brought different issues to the council. Did you know what was going to happen?
No, because that scene is not in the game.
Okay, so
That scene, that the whole council thing is not in the game. So if I can real quickly just kind of break it down for you. When she gets out the hospital and she goes to Joel's house, it's still wintertime in the game. Like when she goes out to Seattle, she's still bruised up. Like she's hemmed up still, and like she's going right after them right away. And then Tommy's the one that actually goes out first, not her. Tommy actually lies to her, kind of calm her down, and then Tommy and the posse leave. It's Maria. I forgot the guy's name. The guy that played RoboCop 3, Seth. Seth in the game. Maria's the one who gives her the horses and the guns to leave. So Tommy. So just to give you a heads up, what that looks like in the game versus that extension of Ellie asking to create the posse versus Tommy creating the posse and heading out. So there's no council that I can remember in the game.
So my question was, how did you expect it to go with the way it went, or did you think it could go either way?
Well, can we? First, I want to say what you call him, Captain Oklahoma. When she was talking to him, you could tell he was already on the fence. So if that's her best friend, and he's 50-50,
Jesse,
I think he
you're talking about?
Yeah, Jesse. Yeah, Captain Oklahoma. He was 50-50, and he was on the. And I mentioned that because he's on the council now, and if he's 50-50. That means the other ones, and again, Ellie just has a reputation of one, not listening to orders, doing what she wants. We talked about this in the first episode. She doesn't follow orders, things of that nature, right? So she already has a bad rep, which is why Jesse says, be careful how you bring this. If you bring this with the heat, you're not going to get anywhere. She spoke a great speech, but of course, the council, you saw the mother there. She was talking about it. The other guy talked about, he talked about forgiveness and moving on. So it was a mixed crowd. And again, we just saw what happened in the votes here in America. It's a mixed crowd. You just don't know what's going to happen at that point in time. I had no clue. I thought it was 50-50 splits, a coin toss. After Ellie's speech, You're thinking you're gonna get that raw moment and be like, "Yeah, you're going." That didn't happen. And I think Jesse voted no because I actually watched it twice, like I always do, and saw them. They were putting the stacks on top of each other. So in the order that they were saying it, Jesse voted no, and while that's still it was what 3-8.
Yeah.
3-8.
It still wouldn't matter if he said yes. It still wouldn't have mattered. So at the tail end of it, I think Seth said it best. They're scared, and when you're scared, you got the immediate scare. You get stuck, but they're just stuck on a longer period of time of that fear. And again, they do have a lot to rebuild. They do have a lot of things that they need. There are necessary things. But no, I didn't know which way it was gonna go. Again, this is like Matt Murdock and White Tiger all over again in a courtroom. But no, I had zero clue how it was gonna go.
Okay. So now that you brought up Seth, and Seth, kind of sided with Ellie, was on her side, actually, was kind of supporting it, even though, and again, look, we all know that it didn't matter what the vote was. I mean, it kind of did, because then more people would have went with Ellie and Dina, as opposed to them going by themselves. But on the way out, they did get some help from Seth, who kind of, was being a little arrogant at the New Year's Eve party towards them. And this is the last person I think we kind of would have expected to see helping them out with supplies, getting out between patrol shifts on the wall. And he was the one who kind of helped them out. Jesse, I don't think Jesse was 50-50, but Jesse, I think I remember him saying we're not supposed to talk about it until the actual thing. I mean, that he could have been 50-50, and that's his way out of not telling her what it was. But yeah, he's in a bad spot because it is his friend, but he kind of wants to, and we've talked about this ever since the White Tiger episode. He kind of wants to do the right thing. He's on the council now, and he doesn't want to, he's encouraged. He's kind of like told them, let's take this serious, and it's him going off and telling his friends insider stuff is not him taking it serious either. So I like his role. I like how he's carrying himself. They're giving him more responsibility. Of course, Joel is gone now. They're rebuilding, and it seems like he's got another role, maybe one that he's more involved. And afterwards, after they killed Joe, I remember, if you guys remember, they show him showing up to the cabin. So cool. So when Dina and Ellie are out, they find camp. How did you find the conversation of Dina asking her to rate the kiss?
Wow. Okay.
I thought that was funny. I thought it was funny.
I mean, that's what we do, right? When growing up as children, we ask to rate the kiss. Dina said, "Look, I'm not gay. You're gay, so I'm just curious. I want to know what you thought about the kiss." So she gave her a hard 6, and that part had me laughing.
Yeah,
because I felt like Ellie did not want to say it was great, which I believe Ellie loved the kiss, but at the same time, she probably was like, "Let me not, hit these waters, because right now, it's not really the time for that." So, yeah, I thought that was funny.
Well, that's what Gail said. Gail said she's a liar.
That's right. That's right. I also want to point out I love when Seth told Ellie, "Yo, take the gun. Let's swap. Let's trade." And she thought about it. He was like, "It's better. Just trade." I love that part too. I thought that was so cool.
So, I mean, I like the fact that it's kind of like, let's break the tension of this episode, because again, we're all still mourning Joel. Again, we're all invested in this series, and he was the main character. He carried a lot of weight, and it kind of broke the tension, because again, before they did leave, and Ellie had said, "I'll go visit him on my way to Seattle," she stopped by the grave, and she paid her respects. And then they're on the trail, and when they camp out for the night, that's when the question is asked. But again, we got to understand we're dealing with young girls, so I kind of understood why, it was probably killing her. She said, "Yo, I gotta ask this at some point," and just them two being on the by themselves, probably the best time to ask her. So, Puba,
Yes, sir.
we see another group of people
Yeah.
while they're on the trail. They don't exactly meet, but we're introduced to another group of people. Do you know about them? Do you know their backstory?
I wanted to call them the Jokers so bad because of their scars. As everybody knows, I love the Joker.
You
Batman.
know
But
why? Do you know why I got these scars in my face? I thought the same thing, Pooh. The minute I saw them, I thought the same, and I was like, they're all Jokers.
yeah, they're all Jokers. Like, let put a smile on that face. It was fantastic. They are called the Seraphites.
Yes.
Is the name of this group. They're a religious group, and while they seem good people, so they don't know, they don't believe in like technology, things of that nature. But these guys aren't nice people. I know that they got slaughtered, but they're not nice people. In the game, they remove people's insides, and they said to cleanse you. So these people gut people alive. They're savvy with their arrows. I'm hoping we see some more of them. But yeah, they're called Seraphites, a religious group. They keep it moving. When they talk, it reminds me of Hot Fuzz. I'm not sure if you've ever seen it. When they go, the greater good, the greater good. That's what they remind me of. But yeah, I do know the Seraphites. They're actually in the game. You have to fight them as well. But I think there's a scene where you hear them gutting a person. And he's talking about, I'm cleansing you while he's gutting the person. And the people are chanting behind him. It's crazy. It's a crazy scene.
So they're a cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely a cult.
Yeah, they from what I understand, they have all the men are shaved, bald, no facial hair. Of course, they have the scars, and even the little girl had the scars on the side of her face. And but the women have their hair in like a braid that kind of resembles a crown. So I didn't know that extra stuff that you told us, as far as you said they're not nice people. You know what I mean? They're not. So that's another
Interesting thing for you.
another obstacle, you know what I mean? Because I honestly, listen, and I spoke about this, I believe, in the first episode, or when Ellie and Dina weren't following orders, and I listen, in this setting, it's in a zombie apocalypse or an outbreak. That's not something that you should do. I was very critical of that, even though I know it's a story. But if we were in that same situation, I would be extremely strict, because that's, you don't want to lose people. You know what I mean? And young girls going out on their own, it's not. I don't think that's a recipe for success. But it you don't want to be reckless. So this next question is for Cole. So after we were introduced to this group, and Ellie and Dina are on the move again, and they run into the Seraphites, but not the way we saw them last. What did you think when you saw that?
It was interesting because I thought maybe one got caught and a few of them got away, but when Dina came out the bushes and then Ellie went inside and saw all of them unalive, especially the little girl, it has you thinking, okay, who done this? And the scene when, right, Ellie was having she was letting her guard down on the travels with Dina. But once she saw that, she switched in a dime and remembered what was the whole purpose of this mission, and said, if they did that, if the wolves did that to these people, then there's nothing they wouldn't stop to do. we have to take care of them. So I was a little surprised that they were all slaughtered.
Tough seeing the little girl too. That's what kind of got me like, come on, man. But and this kind of leads to my next question to Puba. We kind of see what at the end when they get to Seattle, we kind of see what they're dealing with.
They are way over their head. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Way over their heads with this. But again, it references back to the game where they're thinking that this was a small group that did it. It's intriguing. I was taken back to The Walking Dead. There's a scene where Rick Grimes and his group thinks that Negan is nothing more than this little small group in a silo, not knowing that there's such a major network of people. And the wolves are the biggest opponent to the Fedra where we were at the beginning of Last of Us, where he had left. So you have two opposite sides, almost like a civil war within this time frame. So no, it's going to be interesting how they do this. Ellie's going to have to rely on a lot of silent tactical skill sets, I think, to get to where she wants to go with Abby. But the wolves are the wolves, and they are in full force and shown at the end of this episode. It's damn near scary because you, again, like Cole said, I just want to get to the next episode. I want to know what Ellie's going to do against this armada, this large group of people. But now you can tell why Abby had those guns, and they were supplied well because they're part of this group. And this group is they're not starving. They're definitely not starving. You have a bunch of full-grown men and women armed to the T, and they are ready to rock. And it's not even that. They have vehicles too.
yeah,
It's not like they're on like Jackson on horses. These guys have military tanks. So way over their head. I think Ellie has no clue because she's still young. I think she's like 24, 25 at this point in the episode. So she's still young, and evolution is always going to happen. People are going to evolve, and I think people are evolving outside of this. And it reminds me of you fear the cordyceps, but you got to be very careful of the living. Like, watch out for the cordyceps, but fear the living. I said that wrong, but yeah, that's the way it is. I think, yeah, she's way over her head. Has no idea what's going to happen, what's coming, and that's going to put her in a pickle, to say the least.
you know, being invested in the show, you kind of get attached to these characters, and I'm worried about them. You know what I'm saying? It's, like you said, they're way over their head. Like, this is not even like, from what I thought. Again, I thought it was just kind of them, maybe a few more they were kind of linking up with. But no, this is a whole like battalion they're meeting up with. Like, and like you said, they're armed, they're not starving, like they're well organized, it seems. So I'm definitely looking forward to the next episode. But again, like I said, I'm kind of worried. Like, I'm worried about what's gonna happen to them. Kind of like when Ellie had gotten caught in season 1. And she kind of, they had her. Yeah, I was kind of, you're concerned because, again, you're invested in these characters, you're invested in the show. But I will go with Cole here and say, any last thoughts on the episode?
Well, when she picked up the gun, Joel's gun, I can feel her saying, this is going to be my weapon of choice when I find Abby. And overall, pardon me, the character development, bringing new characters in, although it was a lot of dialect, it still was a lot of fun to watch.
Uba,
excuse me.
last thoughts on the show?
One of the most powerful scenes that I remember in this show was when the brother had to clean Joel's hands, and he said, "Send Sarah my love," his niece. Man, that hurt me more than the Ellie, smelling the jacket scene.
Coño.
That scene right there was tough because I could never see me doing that. You know what I'm saying? And it's the watch. Again, I'll go back to the watch that reminded him of Sarah and that relationships of his niece and his brother. And man, that was we continued Joel's death going into this episode. But I think something's going to happen where in this episode, because I'm kind of left where the coffee beans. Cole, do you have any idea? I don't know where the coffee beans comes in.
So I have it's a hypothetical where, remember when the psychiatrist was telling Ellie, hey, the last time you spoke to Joe was after the party, right? And he was on the porch. I believe that he was drinking coffee at that time. So maybe Joe has some sort of likes coffee. But that's just a hypothetical.
But that would make sense because remember, the
think
next morning she wanted to go out with Joel.
I think she, again, liar. I don't think she just walked by. I think they actually had a conversation, and I'm curious to know if there's going to be like a flashback on that, and that's why the coffee beans are in the. Because to your point as well, Puba, I thought she was going to put the watch, and it wasn't the watch; it was the coffee beans. So yeah, that I'm curious to know what happens with that.
Yeah, but that's all. Those are the things that kind of when I remember this episode was the coffee beans. I'm a little curious because that's never really come up in the show for the most part. I know that Joel in the game likes to drink coffee, but I don't, that's never been a thing on the show. And then of course, like I said, Joel's brother and Tommy's so different from the game to the show because he's a kind of a hothead hillbilly type of guy in the show. In the game. And he's very conservative on the show. So his to what Cole was saying earlier, his story arc is super interesting to me because they're going in a complete different direction with Tommy. But no, listen, what a great storytelling and great direction because it did allow us to mourn alongside Ellie, right? And it's just really good. Writing and even the switches from the game to something different that they're doing on the show, they hit so well. So, I mean, just continue. The people at HBO, the people out on Last of Us, Ramsey and the rest of the crew, keep doing what you're doing. I'm enjoying this. Keep doing it.
We need Naughty Dogs to come out with part 3. So that way they could continue doing this.
So, listen, guys, thank you again for joining us to just kind of listen to us talk about one of our favorite shows, one of the hottest shows out in this year, 2025. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting 160 subscribers at this time. If you haven't, please give us a like. Please share. Please subscribe. And for Puba, for Cole, we will return.
The worst episode ever.